Is the camera working? No, I don't think so. Hey. Hey, what do we have for you today? I hope you didn't see that jump over the fence. I thought the camera was off. Alright, so it's Friday, the 3rd of July 2020. Oh, I mistakenly put here on the 2nd. Alright, so that should be on the 3rd. I'm gonna fix that now. Okay, so today we want to do some papaya transplant. We want to transplant at least 15, maybe might go more than that depending on the space we have. Okay, so we're gonna do some sick plant removal. There are some sick bananas. I'm gonna show you that very soon, and I'm gonna show you how do we know that they are sick or they're not healthy. We're gonna remove them and replace them with papaya. Okay, so we're gonna do some trimming of banana leaves. If you look around, you can see a lot of dead leaves. Okay, so like this one right here, we're gonna remove this. Okay, so I don't like seeing these kind of things in the garden. It's a lot of work to do that. You can see if you look around, there are a bunch of them, especially at this corner right here. So we're gonna have a lot of work to do today. Okay, so then the next thing will be removal of excess banana plants. Just ignore those days. Okay, it's just the book. It's a 2019 diary, but we can't fill this in just 1 year, so we have to scratch these things off and then put our own dates. All right, so last on the list is remove excess banana plants. I will show you why you need to do that. Okay, so this really affect the growth of the plants. All right, so I'm gonna take you to this place where we're gonna do the transplant. So right at this space we have some papayas to transplant. We're gonna put about 1 2 3 4, maybe 4 here, and then at the other section of the garden we're gonna transplant the rest, maybe 5. Oh no, I'm gonna put just 4 here. In another video I'm gonna show you how much space you're gonna give your plants. So depending on the variety that we have here, this one are very short papayas, dwarf papayas. Oh, there's a lot of drumming going around there. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the papaya plants that we gotta transplant. All right, so there are some space here that we're gonna put these papaya plants as well. So just like this picture you have on the right side of the screen, that's the same type of papaya we are growing here. Okay, and these are the papaya plants. Right there. Okay, we have enough of them, so we're gonna transplant them to this space, and there are some other space behind the garden. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that today, but let's see what we get before the end of the day. So this papaya that you see in these bags are of the same age with this one. You can see this one grew really bigger, okay, because it's already planted in the ground, so it's having the nutrients that it needs. And those other ones are kind of small, okay, but they will grow really fast once you put them in the ground. And this one have been here for about 2 weeks now. All right, so there are a lot of dead leaves at this section, so you have a lot of leaves to remove today. You can see how bushy this place is. We're gonna really clean it up. We can't finish all the work today, but we're gonna start it right now. So you see how messed up this place is. And this was the first bananas I planted 3 years ago. By then I didn't have enough experience, so I just planted them randomly without considering the space that they needed. Alright, so because of that, they got really tight as they grow up. So I gotta go change clothes and then come do the work. So we've changed clothes, and before we start any work, we want to give the fish some breakfast. If I get there, you'll see that they are all hidden. Once they see me, they'll start swimming towards me. So look at them. We have like only 3. So just see within few seconds, you'll see all of them coming up for food. See them coming. See them coming. They're getting ready. And they'll be right here waiting until they get some food. All right, so they're taking their breakfast. And I'm gonna add a little bit more in case there are a few that doesn't have enough. All right, so I gotta find a spade and get some papaya plants planted. But first, let's go collect the plants. papaya root is very delicate, so you want to make so if you are transplanting it, you don't cut the root, and that will be best before it have its root right through the bag right there. So if you look at this, if I try to pull it out, you can see it has its root right through the bag. So I don't want to cut this root. It's possible that it might survive, but it is very sensitive. Okay, so I normally try to dig it down, and if it's gonna be cut, it has to be a small portion of it, not this big one right here. Okay, so I'm gonna dig it down, okay, and then have it right out there, right? Okay, so it's okay to have it like this, but make sure you plant them as soon as possible. If not, they'll start losing energy and die out. Okay, so we're gonna pick a few more and take them to the transplant section. I have a big one right here. So luckily this one is not really grown up to have its root going down in the ground. I will not want to choose this type because it is growing tall. So if you look at these two, about the same height, but this one is much healthier than this one, so I tend to avoid them as much as possible. If not, they will grow tall before they start having some fruits. It might be a male one as well, so we're gonna go through that as well in another video. So these type of plants have males and female. You need both of them in the garden to have them producing fruits. So I'm gonna avoid that one for now. There are ways to get them growing healthier by applying a lot of manure to them, okay, and making sure that they have enough water. But for this transplant, I'm not gonna use it. So I'm trying to find tough and short ones. This one also is good, though it is a little bit cut on top right there, but I can still use it. I'm looking for the ones with a bigger stem like this. Okay, there's one right up here. Okay, now I'm gonna do some comparison between these two, this one and this one. Almost the same height, but if you look at them, the stem of this one is much bigger than this. Okay, so it is okay to use that type. It's still okay to use it, but I always want to have short ones with a bigger stem. So those ones, before they grow tall, they've already grown mature enough to be able to have fruits within 4 months. Okay, but with this, it can still have fruit within 3 months, but if the stem is not really developed, you would not be able to have good heavy fruits out of it. The amount of fruit that it can hold also depends on the size of the stem. Okay, so these papayas grow a lot of fruit on their stem. So if the stem is not strong enough, it will tend to break or reduce its capacity. It is still very fine to use it, just that I'm trying to pick the best ones and then pick the ones that are left. But this is a very good one, even though compared one that I have somewhere at the part of the garden. It is growing so tall and yet the stem is too slim. Okay, that happens normally if you have them under the shade. So these papayas are under this cashew tree. Okay, the advantage of that is if you water them, they retain water in their bark. Okay, and you might need to water them 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, maybe a little bit more, maybe up to 4 times, but the ones that are out there in the sun always need water almost on a daily basis. Okay, so if you miss to water them within 2 days, you'll see that their leaves started drying, and I'm gonna show you how that looks. See, this one is having a very good stem, a very good stem. This is one of the best I want to use. Okay, so I'm gonna pick that. So it is having its root down in the ground. I have to check the size of that root. If it's big, I'll have to dig it down. Okay, this one is a small root. I can just pull it up and it will be released. Okay, you can see this one has just its fiber roots around it. Okay, so look at that stem right here. Because these ones are out here in the sun, they tend to grow bigger. Okay, they have enough sunlight. But the reason why those ones right there tend to have small stems and grow tall is they're trying to find the sunlight. So they try to grow really fast to be able to get the sunlight. Okay, but these ones are directly under the sun. They don't need to really grow fast or look for the sunlight. So they tend to have a big one. So like check this one as well. You can see how big this stem also is. I'm gonna pick that as well. So see these two as well. I have this one too. Look at it, the stem is so big and the root is still not that developed. Okay, so I'm gonna pick the rest of the plants right here. Okay, I do try to plant multiple of them in one bag so that if they're struggling to germinate, I still have at least one or two of them in the bag. If not, I have to keep replanting them over and over. But at least if I have two or three of them in one bag, it is kind of guaranteed that one of them will come up. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this and take them to the place I'm gonna transplant them. Today Ismaila, who normally manages the garden, is not in, and he's busy doing some work at home. So I will need to find the spade. I'm not sure where he put it. Let's go find that out. I look everywhere, can't see, so let's go ask Ismaila where he put it. He's aka Lucky Child. Ismaila! Mala! Wangkulan is! Wangkulan is! That's Lucky Child coming out there. Aha, okay, good. I'll check. Yeah, hide like a
Because sometimes I used to miss places, so that's why I keep it
safer.
safer.
Oh, okay. Abel arin jeldo. Hide te minta ala jele fo. Yeah, good. All right, so I have to put these papayas in the ground. So at some point we manure this ground. So I just have to make a small space. So you can see the manure is still there. It's not fully decomposed. Like I said, it is always best to have one plant in the bag. Like that comes handy if you want to transplant it. Like in this case, I'll have to try to separate these two plants and then put them in different holes. Okay, and that becomes a little bit complicated at some time because if they lose the soil, they tend to grow dull and then pick up. Okay, so I'll have to do that carefully. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so when you're doing that, all right, so you can see I kind of get it this time. I'll try to put that in gently. Make sure it doesn't lose the soil around it, around the roots. So I'm gonna transplant this one also in another place. I'm gonna do it right here. Okay. And and then give it water immediately. If not, their leaf will start degrading and then eventually die. So like what is happening right here. So you can see this one have to get into the soil as soon as possible. And also it's not the best time to do the transplant. It is always better to do it in the evening when the sun is setting. Okay, so by this time the sun is getting hotter and hotter, so when you disrupt them a little bit, quickly waking up. Okay, but they can still make it. It's just that it's not the best time that you will need to do this kind of work. So after planting, you'll have to water them, okay, so that they'll have some strength. Alright, so we've covered one of our agenda, which is to transplant papayas, at least 15. We end up doing 20, so I have to check that out of the list. So I have to tick that out. Alright, now we are moving to removing the sick plants and replacing them with papayas. So now let me show you how a sick banana looks like. This is one of the bananas I call sick. So normally a banana which is not healthy, if you hold it and pull it, it comes out straight. Okay, so but this one is a little bit hard. And how do you know that it is really sick? This has been here for about 2 months, okay, maybe 3. Now if I turn it down, look at the roots. You can see there is no root development there. All the roots are dying, and they have been the same roots since I planted them. So a healthy banana will have a very grown up roots, okay, and this place you should see a lot of white roots like this, okay, but this is just keeping this banana surviving, but it's not enough to make it grow. So this is why it is not growing. So this is definitely a sick banana, okay, it's not healthy. So I'm gonna throw it away. It's gonna rot and become a manure. Papaya. So I have to replace it with this one. Okay, so we're gonna look for another seed plant. Alright, so since we are still with the papaya, so I have this tall one from I think 2 years ago. It has really done great job for like 2 years, and now it's just growing taller and taller, and the fruit will not be very healthy by the time it is producing another one. Alright, so we're gonna cut this down and replace it with a younger one. Okay, so usually these kind of plants, after 1 or 2 years, you'll have to cut them and replace them. Okay, but for bananas, they replace one another. Okay, like when you cut the big one, the smaller one will be growing, and that will replace the one that you harvested. But this one have done what it's supposed to do, so we're gonna cut it down and replace it with a new one. Okay, I'm supposed to use a cutlass for that, but let's see how that goes. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this. You can see that it has some water in it, and this is definitely not good. Okay, look at it inside. The interior is almost rotten. So even if it's gonna produce another fruit, it's not gonna be good. So this is definitely the right call to cut it down and replace it with a younger one. So I could completely remove it and then cut all the roots, then replace another one, but in this case I'm gonna put the younger one just beside it. Since I cut this down, it's gonna rot, and then it will become a manure for the younger plant. Alright, so we've done about 7 of them, removing 7 sick plants and then replacing them with papayas. So I'm gonna take that out. They're not completely done yet, but for today I'm just gonna do those 7. So next I'm gonna show you how to remove excess banana plants. Okay, now if I come over here, you can see we have a lot of bananas at one spot. Okay, so usually it is a good practice to maintain 1 or 2 plants in each hole, maybe 2, so that if you harvest one, you'll have another one to replace it. Okay, but if you look at this point here, we have let's count. We have 1, that is 1 there, this is 2, you have 3, 4, 5 at the same spot. Okay, so this is not good. All right, so this is the biggest one here. I'm gonna leave this and then cut the rest out. So the reason why I want to do this is, if this is growing and you have all these other plants around it, they will struggle to have enough food or enough manure. Okay, so you always have to maintain 2 or 3, and then the rest you remove them. Okay, you can cut them and then maybe replant them somewhere else, or just cut them out completely. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna cut the remaining ones out completely. Okay, so this is going to be removed. That one will be removed, and this one. So I'm gonna leave only these 2. So at this stage, this is even too small to have a sucker, right? So I'm gonna take it out. Once it grows all the way up, then I can allow the sucker to come out. Okay. So this will also go as well. Okay. All right. So that's how we clean it. Okay. I'm gonna move to another one. Check this one as well. We're gonna remove the sucker right there. Yo, good. That's not funny. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.